Kemi Badenoch thought she ate, but unfortunately, she left a lot of crumbs.
Over the weekend, I suggested to the Prime Minister that he cut the aid budget, and I'm pleased that he accepted my advice.
There is a unique kind of pain that comes when the very people you sold yourself to remind you that you were never one of them. And right now, Kemi Badenoch is feeling every ounce of it, every single ounce of it.
She didn't feature in my thinking at all.
Let's break this down logically, because what just happened isn't just politics. It's a masterclass in psychology, and I love every bit of it. Kemi built her career playing the role of model minority, the black conservative who distances herself from her own, who speaks against Africa to earn favor in Britain. But here's the problem. When you build a house on borrowed land, the owner can evict you at any given time. Starmer didn't just ignore her, he erased her. Now, the logic behind this statement, the logic behind Starmer's statement, is rooted in a rhetorical device called a fortiori reasoning. Now, if he didn't even think about her, how could he take her advice seriously? Now, in my language, in Edo language, we say, Imadege trailer, ama iwe a driver no fear. Now, a verbatim translation in English language says, I didn't see the trailer. I didn't see the trailer truck, let alone the person driving it. Now, here's the logic. The truck, as you know, is more visible and obvious than the driver. So if someone failed to notice something as large and conspicuous as a trailer truck, it follows that they definitely didn't notice the smaller, less conspicuous detail, in this case, the driver. Wow, that was horrendous. It was mean, so to speak. In fact, that was a public diminishing of relevance designed to make her politically invisible, just like the driver. Okay. Oh, dang.
She's appointed herself, I think, saviour of the Western civilization. It's a desperate search for relevance.
This is what we call exaggeration as dismissal. Instead of debating her point, Starmer framed her as delusional. Someone appointing herself as the savior of the Western civilization. Like, seriously. It's not just an insult, it's a psychological warfare. It makes her look desperate for importance. It weakens her credibility and ensures that no one in that house or watching takes her seriously. It was a political bombardment. Political bombardment, whatever. And the last part, a desperate search for relevance, that's the real dagger. Because, it means Britain never saw her as central to their politics. She wasn't, or she isn't, a key player, just a convenient voice when needed, a political weapon against her own people.
Mr. Speaker, I understand she likes straight talking. She's talking absolute nonsense.
And here's where the karma kicks in. The very Nigerians, Africans, the black people, melanated people she has distanced herself from, They are enjoying this moment because this isn't just about Kemi. This is a warning to every other person who thinks tearing down their own will secure them a seat at the table. A lot of melanated people immediately they leave the shores of Africa. They start bad mouthing, talking down on their countries, comparing apples and oranges. Oh, Nigeria this, Nigeria that. Look at here, look at Britain, look at Spain, look at this, whatever. If you knew what these people did to Africa, you won't dare badmouth Africa for being underdeveloped. Even when it comes to corruption, how did corruption start in Africa? Was it not the same colonial invaders who started to handpick people? They started to favor some particular set of people, put them in places of power to use them against the others. Is that not how corruption started? You talk about the police, talk about the army. Yes, of course, it's not the same way the police behaves in this western part of the world or the military. You don't see them outside flogging people. But where did ours in Africa, where did they learn it from? Wasn't this the same treatment they got from these colonial soldiers and colonial police? So they learned from the people who taught them. So that is it. So before you talk down your country, try to get to the root of why they are behaving the way they behave.
Last week, he misled the House. He was not on top of his own education bill, listening to
Sorry. We can't accuse the Prime Minister of misleading the House. No. But he can't do it. I'm sure there's words that you will prefer to use.
And here's the final humiliation. Now, Kemi, in her usual fashion, tried to attack Starmer directly, accusing him of misleading the House. But this time, she was stopped, cautioned, told to choose her words carefully. You see, in Britain, there are rules for the game. And the same aggressive tone she used against Nigeria, the same reckless accusations she threw at Africa, she thought she could take it there. But they put a leash on her. They made her rephrase. They reminded her that even in the very halls of power she thought she belonged to, she needed to choose her words carefully, and she rephrased.
Mr. Speaker, last week he claimed to have laid down an amendment that he had not made. He doesn't know what is going on in here or out there.
She thought she could speak about Britain however she pleased, the same way, the same manner she speaks about Nigeria and Africa. I mean, it's a fair game. Africa is a fair game for her because she knew nobody would check her there until now. And that's the real lesson for you, all of you. If you don't respect your roots, someone else will make you respect theirs. The leash has been tightened and the world is watching. Power isn't given, it's taken. Respect isn't earned by betrayal, it's built through integrity. And if you think you can abandon your people and be welcomed elsewhere, just remember, they didn't even think about you. Dang, I'm good.